Round 6 of the 2024 Chess Olympiad saw what is probably the coolest move so far in the entire event. It is black to move in this position. Black is Dragonev, representing Austria. White is Duda, representing Poland. And in this position, black found an unbelievable resource to draw the game. Now, black is under some serious pressure because for the time being, they are up a piece. But note this, the queen is hit and also the rook is hit. There is some sort of a fork here, meaning if you move the queen to f5, keeping in contact with the bishop, well, then you lose your rook, you're down the exchange, and this would be a pretty miserable transformation of the position. So in this position, black had to find an only resource, and it is a spectacular one at that. So take some moments, pause the video. What do you play here as black? The move, ladies and gentlemen, is queen takes h3, sacrificing the queen. White has to take it with the pawn, only legal move. And in this position, the whole point, the reason you sacrificed the queen is to open up and expose the king and force a draw. After rook takes f2, first of all, white isn't even up that much serious material, but more significantly, the king is so exposed that black's going to be able to put some serious pressure. In this position, the way the game ended is king g3 was played, attacking both the rook and the knight, and here black's whole point was to go rook f3 check, and force the king back to h2. If you take the knight here, there is a mate with rook to h3. Pretty spectacular mate. So the king had to go back, and indeed, the game actually ended in a draw by repetition like this. So what could have white done aside from going king to g3? Well, they could have, of course, gone to the first rank. So, for example, king to h1. But this invites the bishop in from via f5 to e4. And indeed, the king's gonna, be put under some serious pressure. The queen can give a check, but the king comfortably hides on g6. The bishop is hit, and if the bishop tries to move away, well, then knight f3 comes, and mate on h2 becomes unstoppable. So king to h1 would have been a pretty sad move to make and not worked well for white. King to g1 would have been an improvement, and here white has probably good chances to hold on to the draw, but it is still black who is in the driver's seat after rook to g2 check. If the king comes to f1, this invites bishop takes h3, eyeing the king via the rook, and there's, again, a lot of issues in this position. If the king tries to run away, for example, the knight joins in the party, and if the king comes back, this is mate. And if the king goes instead to d1, you take the bishop with check, and the attack is certainly continuing. So after rook to g2, king h1 would have been the way to hold on, but still bishop takes h3. And knight f3, rook h2 is still a serious mate threat. The only way, in fact, for white to deal with this is the incredible resource f5. Sacrificing a pawn here, but the entire point is, well, first of all, black can no longer go for their mating idea because now there is perpetual. The pawn takes away some key square for the king. And the other point is that if you take with the knight, hoping to then reroute the knight back into the attack, well, then the bishop no longer controls d7, so the queen can give not the check from c7 like previously, but the check, the much stronger check from d7, where it still has access to e8, and here actually white is mating black, so black would have to be okay, I guess, with the repetition here. So an incredible resource. I don't know if white would have found it, but probably the best idea for them is to take the draw at this point. And indeed, queen to h3 here, a critical move to save the position and force it into equality. Brilliant. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new around here, like the video if you learned something new from it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.